displacement is a situation. I think this is what we need to push out there, that it's a situation that does not make somebody lose their needs or have less needs. It's just like me and you. And so, to the government, we need to really try and see how to reach out there to make them change this mindset. And as well, I know we've worked in different places with corporate organizations, including the ones who are represented here. But again, there are challenges with it because of the mindset that these are just refugees and all that. So I think the issue of the mindset, trying to bring everybody on board, create a shared value, is very, very key from the onset. And I think UNHCR has learned over the years, and we've learned from what has happened in Uganda, where refugees are allowed to, interact with the local communities better. And so we have this new thinking of out-of-camp settlement, and refugees are allowed to be able to interact more. And in this way, then, refugees will be able to be seen as people who can be able to contribute. And so I think my plea here is to everybody, especially the private sector and the government, that let's create a partnership that should start from the beginning. I know this is now we're trying to bring on board the other partners after many years, but again, I think there, as already shared, the opportunities are there that will be able to benefit each and every partner. So the issue of the mindset, working as partners, is very important. Thank you.
There's very limited research in terms of urban displacement economy. We have so much information about the economies in the camp, but we don't have as much information as would require in the urban areas, and this is where most of the industry, or where most of business is. The second thing is that, for them to engage, they'll also have to understand what displacement issues are. In terms of who's a refugee, what are their needs, what are their skill sets, and how can we engage this. What we've been trying to do, for instance, for the journalists or refugees who are journalists, particularly from Ethiopia and all that, is trying to link them with the industry, trying to link them with them with the media houses to see whether they can, maybe even have a correspondent job or something of the sort, so that they can, start interacting with this sort of people and understand where these refugees are coming from. So one, I think there's a need for research in terms of opportunity, and then that, of course, now will tie in to advocacy. And when we approach people, maybe organizations like EPSA or the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and say, okay, these are the number of refugees are here, these are their skill sets. So how can we engage to push with the government and also tie it into Vision 2030? And Vision 2030, I think, is still there, yeah. And really plug in and say this is the worth of the refugee, and this is what they can contribute to you if you only just listen, yeah.
So the way we work at ENESA is specifically, one of the things we try and avoid completely is bureaucracy. So, for example, in the way we do our education, we do realize that the way education will look in the next 50 years is nothing that it looks like today. But to get the parents who sold on the concept, we kind of have to create the same KCPE, KCSE, old school, didactic type content, and then slowly kind of feed in extra content to the kids. And that's the same way we worked with, for example, the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development, is that they were very hard to work with. So we went and created all the content ourselves, started giving it to the customers, and then slowly started to get it vetted with KICD, and that was successful. And so, my challenge to look at this as a sustainability issue is that I'm a hacker, and my when we're working with technology, we're always trying to answer the question: how can I stop this from that someone else doesn't have to do it again from the start? And so, if we already have people on the ground and we have access to them, we already have people who have a model of, I'm producing something, I can be able to get an organization to sell it for me. I think trying to look at how you can create a curriculum around that doesn't have to even use technology, that just can be taught within the camps of, this is something this person has done, this is how it can be replicated. And I think if you achieve a kind of scale at that, then it's much easier to present some of those issues, to the government and say, hey, we've been able to get 10 people working and 10 people out of here. Maybe now you can get us work permits to start leaving. Otherwise, if it's all done kind of randomly, and that's actually our problem as a technology company trying to work with people in refugee camps. It's that we're trying to work with 200 people all doing the same thing, and for us, we're trying to wonder, is there someone who's kind of converting this into a process, converting this into a procedure so that all the players can be at one place at the same time?
So there's a couple of things that I heard there. It's about just doing it. Just make stuff happen, learn from it, and then convince others. And then the second thing is, it sounds like a more systematic approach, a more collective approach to this challenge is required.